Today we're making a DIY Olla pot. If you're not familiar with what Olla pots are, basically they are containers that usually are terracotta, something porous, and they're a container that you can fill up with water and then actually bury that container down into your containers or into the soil line or something like that. And so the idea is that it is a reservoir of water that then will permeate out into that soil profile. So it's kind of a way to irrigate a set amount of water and allow it to really percolate into that soil profile, extending the time between waterings. And so today we're going to make one ourselves, kind of show you how to do one. You can buy these. There's a lot of different styles that you can buy online. But this is a simple one that we've made out of 2 terracotta pots. So this is actually the bottom, that's why I'm flipping it over. And this is the top. So you can see there was a drain hole that was already pre-made in this terracotta pot. So we left that one uncovered. And we've got this one where we've turned one pot upside down on the other. And basically we've sealed them and then we sealed the other drain hole. So this would go into your soil like this, and you would bury it up to here, and then you would fill this up with water right here. This whole thing would be filled up with water, and then it would slowly percolate out into that soil profile. So let me show you how we're gonna build one of these, and it doesn't really matter what size pots you get. So we've got a little bit larger pot here for our demonstration purposes that we're gonna build. So again, just simple pots that you can buy wherever. They're fairly cheap, no big deal. You wanna make sure it's one that's not glazed, because that glaze will prevent that water from actually filtering out of that pot. So here we go. So this is one we have. Of course, again, make sure it does have a drain hole in the bottom of it, because that's important. Now, there's a couple of different ways to actually go about preventing that water from draining out that drain hole, and that's what you want to do on this first one. So we've got some rubber corks that you can buy. You can buy a set so you can kind of make sure you get the right size. Or another option would be, and this is what we used on our smaller one here, is just those rubber protection pads that you can get for your chairs. This particular one's a little bit too small for the hole that we're working with on this pot. So we're going to go ahead with one of these corks and use it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our glue here, and this is a good adhesive glue, and basically what's nice about it, it's a little bit of an elastic glue even after it dries, and it's also going to hold up to water, because obviously you want a glue that's going to really hold up to water in this situation. So we're gonna put a little glue around there, and then we're gonna slide that down into that drain hole. And if, just for safety, if you wanted to add a little more glue on the outside, you could do that. This is why we're wearing rubber gloves. You can use your finger to kind of help facilitate that glue and get it kind of peanut butter spread around there if you want to. Now this is going to be the bottom. So your second container, what we're gonna do is bring that over here. I'm gonna set that on its side for right now. And for this situation, what we're gonna do is eventually we're gonna wanna put this pot on top of it, okay? So we're gonna put our glue. I have seen where some people use caulk. That might be another option, like an all-weather caulk you could use. But we found that this product worked really well. So you just wanna make sure you have a good bead of that glue or whatever adhesive you're using. And at this point, we're gonna turn this pot over upside down. Now keep in mind, we did not seal the hole on this one, because that's actually the top. That's where we're gonna be filling it up with water. We did on this is actually the bottom here. So, and you gotta do your cork before you actually glue these two products together. And this glue is a little bit smelly, so make sure you're using a ventilated area to do that in. Now, just to give it a little bit more reinforcement, what we found that works really well is getting kind of this woven, it's sort of like drywall tape or something like that, and it's got a little bit of adhesive to it. So we're gonna wrap this around here, and you can see that some of that glue is obviously squeezed out from between our pots. But it's not too messy that it's really shifting on us, so that's good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that. Got a little bit of an overlap on there, that's fine. And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and add a little bit more glue just on that in some of those areas where maybe I haven't seen some of that glue actually protruding through. So I feel like this sort of just gives us a little bit more security that our pots are gonna stay melded together. And I'm just kind of using the tip of the glue here to kind of do this for right now. All right, so then again, getting your stick here, what we're gonna do is just sort of spread that, like you're making a sandwich here. We're just spreading that around, gluing that tape to really secure and weld your two pots together, basically. You can also use your stick to kind of press it and make sure it stays stuck to the pots. So now we have our container and our pot. Obviously it's upside down because this has our cork here in the top. That is one of the nice things I would say about using one of these cushions inside, is that it will sit flat this way, whereas with the cork you have a little bump, so it's hard to sit flat on its actual bottom. So it doesn't matter when it's in a larger container that you're watering or in the soil, but just for storage purposes, it kind of has that lift there. So this glue actually will dry fairly quickly. I think the set period on it is about 24 hours, but it's pretty dry to the touch within just about 5 or 6 hours. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave it here, but by tomorrow, we could be putting this out in the garden.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.